All right, everybody, welcome to the April edition of the Ecosystem Advisor Awareness Group. All right, so looks like we have kind of a smaller group today, and that's unfortunate because there are a couple specific topics, and one of them is regarding that specifically. All right, so we'll get into it. Before we move forward, though, is there anybody who's in attendance that I didn't put onto this attendee slide? I got myself, Clint, John, Don and Don, Francisco, Mark, John, and Tracy. Oh, John B. and John S. Look at that. Looks like I got everybody. Oh, and Mr. Jeremy Ferentz. We'll click him on here. He just joined. All right. Okay, so it sounds like we got everybody. Well, thank you for coming to the meeting this week. The agenda, just to go over it, especially for the folks that haven't been in one of these meetings before. Actually, is there anybody this is your first time in this meeting? Going once? Going twice? All right, sold. So this is our agenda for our meeting. We're going to review our primary goals, and we're going to talk about progress and talk about any goals, whether they're new or standard for next month, and review our long-term goals. We're going to talk about DNN Connect, and we're going to have our open forum. The open forum comes in two formats. The first one is on the recording. The second one is off the recording, so that way if there's anything that we need to discuss that we don't want to go into YouTube, we can discuss it there. All right. And anybody who might be watching us on YouTube, thank you for watching, and thank you for trying to participate with the community. We're always looking for more participants, and we always welcome it. So if you want to join our group or any other group, feel free to leave a comment on the video, and we'll get you in touch with the right people. Alrighty. So primary goals as a group. I added something this month, and we're going to talk about this in more detail later. Champion or co-champion something. So make sure that you're participating in some way other than just showing up. Showing up is great, and it's perfect. It's one of the first things that we need anybody to do, but we also need people to do stuff. So we're going to talk more about that later. So make sure you co-champion or champion something, and again, we'll talk about that in a minute. Do at least 2 things a month. No matter how big, how small, that's our primary goal. Make sure we just do something. So, some of those things might be, making a plan, it might be having a meeting, it might be, writing a blog, whatever it is, do at least 2 things a month. And so I think we can all agree that 2 things a month is, in a 30, 31-day span, sometimes 28, 2 things a month is a very small ask for our community. And one of our other parts of that is generate a snowball effect. So one of those 2 things might be having somebody else learn how they can participate, right? And so making sure people know that they can, use the blog, they can, create a forum post, they can, create a video or whatever it is, a tutorial. And so helping other people do these things. So that way we're not, the entire burden isn't on us. The entire community should know that they can do this, they should do this, and how. And then keep in constant contact. And so again, our primary area for that is indeed Slack. But if there's, as far as our championed areas, if you have to have meetings throughout the month or whatever it is, just make sure you're in constant contact with each other. All right. Any questions on our primary goals?
Look good.
Sounds good. All right. Sounds bueno. All righty. Let's see here. Okay, so the first item to discuss is a HOTCAKES community tools review. This is something we've been discussing every month. Clint, you've been the one that had the most information about this. Do you have any news from Mr. Sean Walker? I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah, so he emailed me the install file for that, and I have given that to Ash and the dev team and created a JIRA item to get that implemented into the site. And if anybody was on the partner webinar, then it will also be important moving forward for the partner. So I'm excited to get it implemented, and it's just a matter of when they can get around to getting it installed.
So it's not been open source, you were just given the installation package?
Yeah, I mean, Sean just emailed it to me. I'm not sure if he's got a GitHub link for it or what his intentions are. I mean, I know he previously said it was going to be open source. but his communication with me was just an email.
Pretty sure I would get a notification if it went up here. 1 second. Mr. Joseph Craig is in another meeting. We'll see him in a minute, maybe. Yeah, so he hasn't put on to HOTCAKES, and I don't think Arrow has a Git account. Oh, maybe they do. Oh, they just reserved it, so it's not there. Nothing in there. All right. Sounds good. Thank you, sir. So that's in progress. All right. So we're moving right along. Actually, before we move along, let's move something in here. Actually, isn't the no, I didn't put a slide in here for it. Okay. Let's do one of these and one of those and DNN Connect 2018. Does anybody have any news about DNN Connect 2018? I know it's coming up in a few weeks.
I'm going. This is Clint. I'm planning on going.
Damn it! I don't think I'm going this year. I went last year. There's still time. Depends on what happens with some work stuff. Anybody else going? Oh, Francisco is going. All right. So there's absolutely no news on that. That's wonderful. What days are that? Is that?
Hola.
It's the end of May. I think like May 31st through June 3rd, something like that.
Yeah, to June
Yeah.
3rd.
All right.
Yeah, I forget the dates. Let's go. All right.
May 31st through June 3rd.
So 31 May to 3 June.
There you go. Is anyone writing a limerick for the occasion?
I wanted to go, but it was close to my anniversary, which is June 4th. Couldn't swing it.
You could have taken your wife. That would have been perfect.
I got 3 kids and stuff, so I'd have to take everyone, and that just wouldn't work.
You're not part of the anniversary. Come on.
Yeah, I know, but try to tell them that.
You give him a few boxes of cereal. You come back in like a week. You'll be good. Just for the record, I do not condone anybody doing that since this is being recorded. All right. So we have a couple people going. Clint, that's going to be your first European event, yeah?
Yeah, DNN related, yes.
Nice. Yeah. You haven't been back to the other side of the pond in a long time, huh?
It's been a while.
Hopefully they let you in.
As long as they don't have it in Finland, I'm good.
Yeah, we know how certain people from your neck of the woods don't get let into the Europe, so.
But I did get.
You know they don't have any. You know they don't have any deer over there though, Clint.
Yeah, they got some interesting stuff, but I got banned from Finland for 1 year. It's a long story.
And one that will not be told in this. All right, moving on. Champions. So I restructured these slides just a tiny bit to make it easier to go through. So champions. So these are the areas that we highlighted in the very early stages of our drift. Areas that we need to work on. Some of these areas will be ongoing over time. Some of these areas might have an end date. We'll decide those things as a group. So first thing, just in case anybody is not aware of these different things, the first thing is dashboard. So this is a community dashboard to help us understand what the health of the community is. And so that's something that we're planning to do. That is a little bit waiting on the stuff from Sean. So as soon as we have those things open source, we can repurpose some of that to create our dashboard. We want to create a speaker program to make it easier for speakers to find user groups and vice versa, and to have abstracts and topics and make it easier for people to do that overall. User group program probably is self-explanatory, but we're trying to grow user groups again. And I don't think Addison's in today's meeting, but he just had a meeting yesterday, did he not? Yeah, he's not in here today. He had a meeting. Yeah, so we'll talk about that in a minute.
Met last night. It was a pretty good meeting.
Okay. So hashtag usage, increasing social activity overall. Same thing with blogs, YouTube tutorials, training course. We'll get to that. I'm glad Tracy's here today. Increasing the number of new and/or updated extensions overall. Improving the homepage of DNN software.com and the messaging overall on the site. Generating curriculum. Wait, is that duplicated? Theme creation as well, making sure we have some open source themes out there. All right, so we're going to start with dashboard. So the champions for this currently are, actually before we do that, I want to talk about this real quick because we have several new members here that are that have joined the group. So we have a total of what, 25 members in the groups overall. But the unfortunate thing about this is we have what was this? How many is that? That's 10. We have 10 people that haven't signed up for anything. You 10 people, redo. These 10 folks, we need you to sign up for something. And so I don't know if I can zoom in on that. So Mr. Don Bishop, we need you to help with something. And it doesn't mean that you have to like spend all day on something or a week on something. We just need everybody to participate in some way, shape, or form. If you see an area, so I'm going to bring it back over here. If you see an area where you feel like you can offer some sort of help, that'd be great. And so I'm talking to everybody. And it's okay too if somebody's like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna help generate YouTube tutorials, and then later on you're like, you know what, that's just not something I want to do. I'm going to do blogs instead, or maybe I want to do 2 things now, or I'm doing 3, I want to go down to 1. Whatever it is that works best for you, we just need some participation. All right.
Will?
Yes.
Will, I have a question for you. YouTube tutorials, could you please, this is a slight distinction, it's a subtle one, but it's an important one. Not everything on YouTube is tutorials. We need some commercials. We need some messages saying, hey, DNN is great, as opposed to let me explain for the next half hour how to do something, because we need something quick because we have very low attention spans. So thank you. Put that hyphen in there.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And to that end, like a tutorial, in my opinion, if you're making a 30-minute video, unless it's a format like this where like people are talking to each other, I would say that you're doing everybody a disservice because very few people are going to actually watch it end to end. So if you have a 30-minute tutorial where you're like showing stuff, I would say break that up into probably 5 or 6 videos. The longest any particular video that is a tutorial type format, the longest that should ever be, is probably 3 to 4 minutes. And we did a lot of experimentation on that. Myself and Clint and another gentleman when we worked at DNN Corp in previous life, and we had a lot of really good feedback from the community, from customers, from even the investors at the time with the format that we had. So if anybody is doing videos and you want some feedback, feel free to reach out to myself or Clint. We'll be happy to provide that feedback. But yeah, and in terms of the commercial type stuff, I'm glad you brought that up as well. Yeah, definitely. We need stuff that says, hey, this stuff is great. So-and-so is using this thing, and here's why you should too, right? So thank you. Yeah, so dashboard. So myself, Jay, Jeremy, I'm going to go ahead and take this one on for right now. But for each of these, one of the things I want to see is like somebody is the primary champion. Almost all of these, there's at least 2 or 3 people participating, but we do need somebody to basically take the reins on every one of these. So with the dashboard, we don't have enough to be able to take the reins yet, so I'm not going to force anybody to make that decision right now. But we are waiting on Sean Walker to open source the HOTCAKES. Oops, not HOTCAKES. That's weird. HOTCAKES community modules. All right. So anybody watching the video, if you want to ping Sean and say, hey, what's up? All right. Well, let him know we're waiting on him. Yeah, so the reason we're waiting on him for that is because there's a lot of code that's already been done on things we want to, Francisco, all you have to do is just let us know which one you want to do. So the dashboard, what we have, what the idea for the dashboard is, to answer your question, Francisco, is we want to be able to track all the various things in different areas. And we had a meeting not long ago going over those tools that Sean and myself implemented on HOTCAKES Commerce. And so you can see that some of them in action here on the HOTCAKES website. So I'm just clicking through on the community page. And so it includes a leaderboard, and when you look at the leaderboard, you can see that there's numerous things that are being tracked. So you can see the number of blog posts, daily visits, forum posts, forum views, GitHub issues created, pull requests are created, registration, registering on the site. I forget what rewards is. I'd have to click on that. Creating a showcase site, tweets mentioning specific hashtags and/or handles, and creating user groups. So those are just a few of the things being tracked here. And so, like, if you were to click on somebody, like, we'll talk about Sippy. So Sippy is the second for the last month in second place. So he's come to the site at least 20 times this month. He's gotten 135 points from forum posts. So whatever that is divided by 5, that's how many posts he's created in the forum over the past month. And he's looked at the forums 71 times, right? So. Excellent. Yeah, we'll get to the blogging part, Francisco. All right. Yeah. So there's plenty of tools here, including like showing where people are and so on. So we're waiting on those to be open source. All right. So that's where the dashboard sits at the moment. And all right, homepage messaging. So I think Jay, are you here? Jeremy, are you here? Let me look.
Yes, I am. This is Jeremy.
Thompson is not here. Oh, so on this one specifically, I apologize for not being in attendance last week rather. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it, so I did say I was tentative. Unfortunately, I was literally on the road without connection, so I couldn't get into the meeting. I apologize for that. Yeah, so where were we on this one?
I don't have any updated information. I don't think there was a meeting last week. I think they did. I tried to join it about 15 minutes in, and it ended short.
Yeah, we just waited for like 10 to 15 minutes, and then we canceled the meeting.
Yeah, you must have just missed us. There was just a little bit of talk, but not very much. Jay and Thompson had written a document. They had posted it in our shared space. There has been a list of audience members. There's a list of points that we wanted to make on a homepage. But then, of course, Dennis and I'm not sure who all was involved in the homepage, the new DNNsoftware.com homepage, but please go take a look at it. It's quite a bit different than when we first started pointing out how it was purely evoke. Now it's got quite a bit of DNN platform talk on it, which is wonderful. And then there's also a page that is, if you are on a desktop and you hover over the word community, there is about a dozen subpages there. So most people go straight to the subpages. But if you just click on community, it's a very good page that describes the community. So there's a couple of good things on the site. There was talk, a lot of talk about going much bigger. I think the phrase was, shoot for the stars, you might land on the moon, or some phrase like that, where we wanted to separate DNNsoftware.org and DNNsoftware.com, and there was a lot of discussion on what that meant, and that's pretty much where we are right now.
Just as an aside, I went and looked up DNNsoftware.org. It doesn't look like anyone related to the corp owns it.
Yeah, I don't know who that guy is. I saw the name as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it's possible.
I'm still in favor of that split, but I really like the upgrade to the site. I think it still needs some refinement, but it's a big step forward.
A big step, yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay, so there is still discussion to be had about.
Yeah, Will, with what you typed, I was referring to dnnsoftware.org, not corp.org.
Yeah, I thought that was weird. Okay.
Cool.
That's why the question mark groups.
Let me just jump in here real quick, Will, about the homepage messaging. I spoke to Thompson, I think it was about a week ago, and I gave him some. He wanted some feedback from me specifically, so I emailed him and gave him some feedback on the messaging and the document that he created. He had 3 or 4 different versions of some homepage messaging and some imagery and stuff. And what I told him was, and I think it still rings true even after the DNN software update already. To me, there's not enough of smiling, happy corporate faces using the software to draw people in. Because to me, when I'm looking at the homepage now, it's still, there's some imagery there, but it's not, to me, it still doesn't hit the mark in regards to who DNN's end customer really is. So, and that's what I kind of, when I provided details to Thompson, that's kind of what I told him too. The messaging has to be on point in that what are the benefits to the people actually who are the end customers for platform and for Evoke. So that's what I still think that aspect is missing in the messaging and in the imagery on the site.
So I think those updates have already made it into the mock-ups in the plans that we saw 2 weeks ago, right? Anybody?
Yeah, the mock-ups are in that document, right?
Yeah. So I think that feedback's already made it to the right place, so it's good.
Okay.
Is that it? No, that's not it. Dang it. Where's my post? So I had created a poll inside of this group. See, this is part of the reason I hate using Facebook for stuff like this. You cannot find anything. But putting a poll out there to try to get some general feedback about the approach between .org and not.org and whatever. And again, the nomenclature, .org versus another approach where we still separate things. Those are 2 different things, but with the same means or same end rather. Where is my post? There's no way it was that long ago.
Try to search for the word vote.
I didn't even search for a post. Oh, search group. Here we go. That moved.
Bless you.
Posted by me. All right. How about any post by me? Is anybody else able to find this? Oh, this is weird. Polls. Okay, well, I can't find it, so we're going to move on. Oops. So as I remember it, and I wanted to pull it up so that way we can see it, but as I remember it, so far, like the people that were responding to that post, and I don't know, maybe it's been deleted, I don't know, but people that were responding to that post, I put a poll in there, and the link to our last meeting about that, and asking people to vote about, like, are they favoring a .org approach in the future, or they want to keep things kind of the way they are but still improve the messaging, or if they had no opinion. Those are basically the 3 choices. And the last I looked, it was mostly people favoring the .org approach, which is interesting because in previous conversations it's usually kind of 50-50. So far it's the overall.
Well, I found it.
Oh, you found it? Can you
found it.
post can you
I
post
don't know
a
how
link
to paste you. It doesn't seem. I don't know how to get a link to it.
Oh, so just click on the date for it. And whenever you see any particular post, click on the date for it. And then that gives you the actual URL for that post.
You're awesome. That is a great cheat. I didn't know that. Where's the chat window? I got
click
it.
on that little ghost
There we
button.
go.
Click the
There you go.
Mario Kart ghost.
There you go.
Thank you for finding that.
It was not easy.
No, yay Facebook. They're doing everything great. It's the best for notifications, but the worst for this kind of stuff. So there's still not a whole lot of activity here. Wow. Yeah. Let's ping this up to the top. So if anybody from this group wants to go in there and chime in, please do. And we'll get some more collaboration on this. Yeah, so right now there's not a whole lot going on since the last time I talked. So a total of 9 people say they like the idea versus 3 for any other opinion. So that's 2-to-1 ratio. So that's pretty good. Well, if that's what you're favoring. Anyway, so it looks like we still need to gather more feedback on the homepage messaging. Was it Jay? Yeah, no, Jay. Yeah, Jay. I put that wrong up here. Where is it at? Jay. Jay, what do you need to keep moving forward at this point?
I don't think Jay is joining.
Oh, he's not? Oh, shoot. Okay, well, moving on. Social activity. David's not here. He usually takes point on this. I don't have an update on this myself. Clint, do you have anything?
I mean, I don't have any numbers. I know there's been a lot of tweets and blogs and content and good stuff going on.
Yeah, this is Jeremy. Just as a person who's not directly involved in this one, I'm on, obviously, Facebook a lot, and the DNN Connect group, I think, has been awesome lately. There's been a lot of Q&A out there with people jumping in with answers, and there's been good posts all across the board. There's a lot of lit up activity on Facebook, at least.
And I've seen new names even, which is cool.
Right, exactly. And some old names coming back too.
Veterans.
Yeah, thank you for that rephrase. Veterans, better.
Yeah. Well, I once said in a previous job, the people I was talking to were much older than me, and this was years ago. But I was like, yeah, my old boss. They're like, old boss? I'm like, previous boss. All right. Okay. Yeah, I share that opinion. I've seen a lot more activity on there. Yeah. So, but in the social channel in Slack, I don't think we've had a whole lot of activity over here over the past month. See, Dennis is chiming in here, so that's good. Yeah. So I helped him with one of these. Yeah. So if anybody's not in the social media chat, if you click on channels, so you see where I am right here, channels, if you just click on this title, what you're able to do is you're able to see all the channels that are available, and you can add yourself to them. So if you want to be part of any of the discussions that you see here that you're not part of right now, feel free to do that. It's an open group. Yeah. Let's see here. So blogs. Oh, and to answer your question, Francisco, from earlier, and your current question. So social activity, yeah, anything on any social channel. So the whole point of the increasing social activity is to get more posts, get more people interacting with existing posts, And really, it doesn't matter which channel it is. So if you happen to participate a lot on LinkedIn, feel free to do that. And if you see, like, you just noticed a blog post on DNNsoftware.com and you think it might be of value, feel free to post it on your own social channel. Or if you see other people posting, feel free to like it, that kind of thing. So basically, any small thing, even if it's just a like or a share, any small thing to not only create more posts, but also to reinforce the behavior of people who are posting. Like, give them a like. Hey, they created this post and it's about DNN. Any little thing helps, right? Yeah. So blogs. So the whole point of the blogs, and thank you for keep asking these questions, Francisco. So the whole point of blogs is to create blogs and also help people know that they can create blogs themselves, so helping other people create blogs. I have not blogged on anything that, oh no, that's not true. Over the past month, I put out a blog. I think I only put it out in one place, though, unfortunately. It was on a time crunch, but I did a blog about the TLS update. Anybody else have any blog updates? I know that we've had quite a few. I think, Francisco, you had something, and you did one in Espanol, yeah?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, so we have a lot of good blogs. And I'm getting some echoes here, but
I also blogging
about the archive release where he's saying he's answered the DNN call, which essentially like people stepping up. He took that on, and Kelly Ford is taking leadership over the documentation, which is really exciting to see. And he's posted 2 blogs already, and we're having weekly meetings about documentation, and he's going to open it up soon for people to get involved with that. And I've posted a lot of blogs that are just like recaps, replays of our meetings, a replay of the partner program. So and also we had Sasha Trawin, I think is how you say his name. He posted his first ever blog. It was about the Sharp Zip library in 9.2.0. So I think we're doing good on blog content. Everybody just keep on contributing. Mitchell Sellers posted one about 9.2 upgrade. So I think we're keeping it pretty active.
Yeah, I forgot about the Mitchell one. That was a really good one. Yeah, so anybody who hasn't seen that one by Mitch, it's a really good one because it basically goes over things that you need to know about upgrading to version 9.2. So it's a very good blog for you to take a look at. And so to that end, reinforcing the people blogging, you can leave a comment. Even if the comment is, hey, like this is a great blog post. Make sure you're doing that. Liking it. If it has a like button, that type of thing. Because at the end of the day, if we reinforce that behavior, then we get more and more of that, right? So moving on to blogs.
On the Chicago.
Sorry, go ahead.
We're doing that same thing on the Chicago DNN user group Facebook page. I think your point is really good. Share blog posts when you see them. Even if you're not generating your own new content, share what the other people have been doing. That's how Chicago DNN is doing it.
Hey, Will, where did Mitch post that latest one?
He posted it, I think, on mitchellsellers.com.
He posts on DNNsoftware.com too.
Yeah.
Yep.
On the blog or on
the community blog?
Community blog. And another thing that may be interesting to you guys is we are working to, on the UI at the top of DNNsoftware.com, the blog link, we're working to get that redirected to point to the community blog. And everybody here knows it's not hard to redirect a link, right? But I think what we're looking at is are we going to break anything or SEO about it? So that is something that Dennis is working on. So hopefully before too long, that main blog link will point to the blog where we are all posting blogs.
Okay. Anything else about blogs? No? All right. Let me put some over here. Continued. There we go. All right. Blogs. All right. YouTube. Don, David's not here. Addison's not here. Don, do you have an update on YouTube videos? Have you had anything help you out there?
Yeah. First of all, as you know, Addison, a video cranking god, had another couple of videos out. As for me, I wrote a script last month. In the next couple of days, I'll have a video done along the lines of what we discussed at the website homepage meeting. We talked about who our audiences are. And the overall message of this commercial is we love DNN. It's the We Heart D. And it's marketing loves DNN because it's so easy to use and all the editing is right up front and quick. And there's tiny little video clips that show that. Then it shows IT loves it because it's based on .NET and the Microsoft. CEOs love it because it's open source and a good economics for your business. And who are we, the many developers and designers and business owners of DNN? So that in a nutshell is what the video is. It's I'm trying to squeeze it into a minute so that it's like a minute commercial, and then run that out. So you should see that next week.
I think we're doing fantastic on our monthly goals for blogs and videos. So everybody is participating with that. Thank you. And again, make sure you like them, share them, leave a comment on them, whatever you can do to help folks rewarded for their work, their effort. All right, we're going to move on to new and updated extensions. Vicente has only been to one meeting as far as I'm aware. Yeah, thank you, Mark. So Jay, have you done any work in this area over the past? Wait, Jay's not here. Shit. Shoot. No one is here. Has anybody else done any work in this area to help increase the number of extensions out there, whether they're new or updated ones? And to that end, the whole point here is to do that. So like, you don't necessarily need to be doing that yourself. Like, not everybody's a developer. But helping and encourage other folks to do these things and know where to post them and things like that. Anybody have any updates here?
I'll just volunteer that the stuff, what is it, Daniel Metler's doing with Too Sexy content. He's, if you guys should read up on his releases in the last few days. He's being really aggressive about bringing things up to date, and the reading through his stuff and his release notes is actually helpful in understanding a lot more of what's going on under the hood in DNN 9.2. I don't know how many people use Too Sexy or whatever you call it, but it's nice to see a developer on top of all this stuff. He's doing great.
It actually used to be called Too Sexy, like actual sexy. And if you ever see Daniel, ask him the story of why it became the 2XC. It's a fun story, especially over drinks. Okay.
I am curious. We try really hard not to call it Too Sexy in front of clients.
Oh, yeah, he loves calling it Too Sexy. But yeah, again, it's a great story. So anybody going to the DNN Connect event and you don't know that story, feel free to ask him. It's fantastic.
All right.
All right.
Thanks.
Cool. Let's see here. Oh, wait, who was that? I didn't recognize the voice. I'm sorry. Who was I just talking to?
Oh, it was Jeremy.
Jeremy. Thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah.
All right. Training courses. I know Tracy has an update on this. Or actually, yeah, curriculum. Yeah. So why isn't Tracy in here? That's weird. I got the champion wrong on this one, I think.
It looks like it.
Yeah, I know you're supposed to be in this, Tracy. I don't know why you're not.
Yeah, that's cool. While you're updating that, I'll give you my update. So, we released DNN Training Academy just prior to the summit, like a pre-release version of it, and released that in ClickFunnels. It's a platform we use for building sales funnels and whatnot. So, but it has its limitations. So we decided to move that over into Kajabi. I don't know if some of you might be familiar with Kajabi. If you're not, it's more of an online training platform that allows us, gives us a lot more features and capabilities to, track the training progress and all kinds of stuff like that. So we've been working to move everything over into Kajabi that we have in ClickFunnels. We've actually done that, but we have a portion. We have a lot of videos that we need to put in there into Kajabi to kind of fill up the training program as it stands right now. And we're working on doing that. We're actually allotting, we're scheduling a couple of days a week, Lucas and I, to get those videos done and then continue to provide updates on an ongoing basis, not only in the membership site, but we have a private Facebook group for DNN Training Academy as well. And it's actually going pretty well. We've got paying members already. We've got, 4 or 5 to start, even though the training program is not complete yet. But people in the training program, they know that they're going to get constantly updated things and goodies and all kinds of stuff like that. So it's going pretty well. Once we get all of the videos in there to kind of complete the program before we start adding more, I'm going to release offer an affiliate program for anybody that's in the community, any vendors or anybody else that wants to market that to their audiences. They'll be rewarded with a nice commission every time somebody comes into the program. I also spoke to at DNN at the summit and online other vendors that I know in the community that are more than willing to do that and even include videos for their products in the training program when the time is right. So we're moving towards that, trying to get through that as quick as possible. So there you go.
Excellent, excellent. Lucas isn't here today, huh?
No, he's not on today. No, he's swamped with something else today on a deadline, so can't make it.
Yeah, last time we talked to him, he was doing some good work at some university local to him. So it'll be fun to get his new update when he's available.
Yeah.
Clint, the last time I talked to you about this, didn't you do something in high school or something recently, or is there any new news on that?
Yeah, I've been working with a kid, one of his what they call IB, International Baccalaureate classes, to get a site up and going. Initially, he told me he just had to do it for a project. Turns out he was actually building a small, I guess you would call it e-commerce. He just had a couple PayPal links for, one of his friends or something. But I did work with him. The site is live, and now he's looking into HOTCAKES because they need more functionality. So he's a pretty sharp kid, senior. We're waiting to hear back what his grade is going to be. But it was interesting to just kind of walk through, because I did everything with him via email and screen shares. Just looking at the problems that he encountered and what he thought he should do to fix them and things like that. But yeah, so that happened, and if he made an A, and if he'll let me write a blog about it, I will. But we'll see.
To that, even if you can't mention him directly, it would be an interesting blog series just to here's some things I learned by teaching a new person DNN.
Yep. Yeah. He it actually stemmed from last year when I went and spoke to that class. The teacher, who's one of my friends, obviously remembered me or whatever. And I guess the kids can choose which avenue they want to, what project they want to do. And this one kid chose web. And so he lined them up with me. But that's how it kind of started, but we, went NV quick site, and then he got a site up and running, and, had to give him the just general DNN overview, and he picks up on stuff quick. And then he had his site going locally, but then he needed to move it to a host, and then I had to go through like how to back up and stuff, and then he blew his site up, and then we had to start over, and it was a good learning experience.
Nice. All right. Anybody else about curriculum? Any other updates, questions, concerns, slide comments? All right. So, what did I say? Oh yeah, Mark. Yeah, like last week, you're telling us you're going to be presenting DNN to a user group. So Mark placed a comment in the chat where, and let me put a new this one. There we go. Let me put Mark. There we go. So Mark, he had 50 people on the Dayton web developers user group last night. Oh, that was last night. Cool. So he presented DNN. Mark, what was your topic? I don't know if you can chat.
Introduction. I showed him the new DNN homepage and the community content that was there. Told them how they would be encouraged to develop on DNN. Showed them a little bit of that. It was just it was an introduction, and it was well received. Only 3 people in the room had heard of DNN.
Really?
Yep. But now all 50 of them have heard of it.
So was that like a .NET specific group, or just open for anybody?
Anybody. In fact, there weren't really that many Microsoft developers in that group. Most of them are other technologies or full stack and other dimensions. So I was preaching to a group of people who don't ordinarily work with Microsoft, although some do.
Well, would you say it was well received, or what was the overall reaction?
I would say they were interested. A lot of those guys, I think you would agree, they're looking to see what's hot and they want to get into it. So I think they liked it from that aspect.
So in terms of like from the people that are, that's not going to work. For the people that you feel were like .NET, did you get any technical questions about like platform or anything like that?
One gentleman asked why it was more secure than WordPress. That was about as technical as the questions got. Okay.
Yeah, because we're in some other groups and forums where we're debating the importance, or not the importance, but the how fast people are trying to move to .NET Core, or the interest there anyway. And so if anybody has feedback from that from other user groups, that'd be interesting to hear. All right, cool. Great job, Mark. Did anybody else happen to do that over the past month? All right. The answer is no. All right. Themes, Mr. Tree and not in attendance, Mr. Ghost Lucas.
Yeah.
Have you released any new open source themes or gotten any new theme developers up and running recently?
We haven't released anything yet, but Lucas came up with I think a really great idea to develop a multi-step series, starting with a basic theme for DNN, and then adding some features to that theme with each step in the, I don't know if you call it the blog series or whatever it may be, to enhance that theme and blow it up and expand it and give it some really cool stuff. So we're starting on doing that. You should see some progress on that this month for sure.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah. So for everybody watching, the whole point of this being a focus area, even though we have an extensions area up above, we need a lot more open source themes out there, and especially ones that look great, right? And so if you have the skills to create them, there's a lot of benefit to you being able to do so because you can get your organization out there. In fact, a lot of organizations, I don't know if this is, I've known Tracy since I first came up with DNN. In fact, I met him and a couple other folks way back, like 2005 or something at the first Orlando.net user group. But folks like Tracy, one of the things that they did to become, thought leaders in the DNN ecosystem was to create open source things. And so Tracy had some, I think Tracy, you started this way too, where like you had some free ones out there, and then that generated business for you, right?
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So anybody watching or anybody else that has the skills, this is a good business generation method. Anybody else with any theme updates? No? All right. Speaker program, user group program, and so I'm going to take over these real quick. Joe wanted to show up today, but he had a meeting, and so I said in the last group last meeting that we should put these on hold, but I've had a change of heart. I had already, so we'll start the speaker program. I'm going to ask Joe to continue his work on this, and we'll asking Joe to continue working on this, and so we can get some headway on this. So the speaker program, again, I think I mentioned earlier, this is just to make sure we can generate more and empower speakers and get them in front of user groups. And so materials, user groups finding speakers, speakers finding user groups, and so on.
And real quick on that, Will. I know that that's kind of been on hold for a bit. So now that Joe's going to resume working, like, what's the next step there?
So his first step is to build a plan around that, and so him and I, we already had plans to collaborate on that. And if you want to, so you're part of this too.
Yeah.
So basically, when we resume work on this, we'll probably need to have a meeting between just us to determine next steps.
Okay.
All right. Well, not in face, or not in person, but
Sure.
All right. Yeah. So speaker program. So we're gonna resume some work on that. The user group program. I had done a ton of work with David on this over the past, year and a half or so, maybe two. And so I don't have the time to take the lead on this one. But what I would like to do, I need to find someone to be the champion on this one and take my work and run with it. Already did a bunch of UX wireframe. So basically, we're this like the user group program. This has already been thought out. We basically, there used to be a tool that was on DNNsoftware.com. At the time, I think it was DNNcorp.com or no, .NET.com, to allow people to create a user group and then manage the user group. All right, Clint, we're almost done. Thank you. We did a bunch of work with wireframes and whatnot to start building that. We did everything except for actually starting to write the code. So that's where this is. So if anybody wants to take the reins with this one and run, we can have another meeting offline, and I can show you what we've done, and then you can take that and run with it and call it your own. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, Will, you can maybe you and Lucas and I can have an offline meeting about that. Show us what you have and see what direction that's going, and see if we can take that on as well.
Oxford comma. There we go. So Don, we'll include you in that meeting. So we're kind of out of time here. So there's a couple of things I want to get to. Monthly goals. Make sure we get at least 5 blogs over the next month, 2 YouTube videos over the next month. We'll put videos. There we go. And the training course. So we're falling behind on the training course one. So I don't know if anybody else has any training courses. I think DNN Hero might count for that. and then getting some open source extensions. So we're falling short in both of those goals for Q1. And then long-term goals, we're just compounding that. But what I really want to get to real quick, we'll take 2 more minutes on this. As a group, I want to, like, we have a lot of people in our group, but we also have a lot of people that don't really show up, right? So, like, if we were to take the attendance and just show, like, people who haven't shown up, we have quite a few that haven't come to, actually, Waldo came to a meeting. He was at the last one. Let me fix that. There we go. But we have people that don't show up. But my concern with no-shows is if you're not coming to any of the meetings or you only come to a few a year, I don't feel like it's, oh, here's John. Oh, okay. Thank you, John. I don't feel like it helps the group just to show up twice a year or 3 times a year or something like that. So I wanted to get some feedback on how the group as a whole would like to handle no-shows.
Maybe it's, you know, if 3 strikes and you're out kind of, or 4 strikes and you're out, or whatever it is, you know?
I think if you're trying to encourage people to participate, you should allow them to come and go, and maybe later they can participate at a higher level.
I don't expect us to make a firm decision today, but I just wanted to put this out there so we can think about it. Are there any other ideas? So mine is that's my idea. Because if we're just, so my concern is if we're just coming and going, we have people giving feedback but never doing anything, right? And that's something that's been an issue with our community for a long time. Everybody has ideas, but nobody's doing anything.
Mm-hmm. I think you got to put something in place to provide incentive for people to do something, or they just won't. And like you said, maybe they can't miss more than 3 meetings or 3 strikes. Maybe that's an incentive to, you know what I mean? Either you know, put your money where your mouth is, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, yeah, and the incentive, like, you know, to that end, you know, I in the early days, part of how I, you know, became well known in the community was doing some of this work for that we're asking people to do yet again, right? Is, you know, putting out free extensions, putting out free tutorials, putting out free blogs, and helping, you know, and all that ended up driving business. Like, this is my 3rd time running a DNN-based company, right? And it's all based upon doing that work. So that, I think, should be enough incentive, but everybody has a different model, right? If there's any more ideas about that, feel free to pass them along, whether it's in Slack or otherwise. What about not championing? Because this has the same issue, right? Like, I need people to participate, and not just me. The community needs people to participate. And so, are there any ideas how to? And again, we're not going to make the decision now, but just ideas to get the thought process going.
Not championing. Yeah. I mean, just define not championing.
Just not helping with any particular goal.
Like no action items, right?
Yeah. So here's why we designate. This is my idea. Designate a formal role within the group to help match. What do you call it? What are these goals with new people? So that means, like, I can't do everything myself. So that means my idea there is somebody in our group, maybe somebody on this call or somebody that didn't make it this month, is whenever a new person comes in, like, they're tasked with going to talk to that person and say, hey, you know, what areas do you like, what do you think you can do, whatever. And then that will help people know what they can and can't do, and get them matched up with the other people they're championing.
Yeah, maybe that kind of goes with the idea of referring others. Like, okay, I don't have time to do what I'd like to in here, but I might know somebody else that could, commit some time to doing some stuff.
Mm-hmm. Any other ideas for that? All right. So at this point, I'm going to thank everybody for joining the meeting, and whether you're watching the recording or otherwise. And we're going to stop the recording and see if there's any other feedback. All right. So give me just a second.